right, what is up, everybody, and welcome to another installment of the Raving Mad Gamers Last Man Standing tournament for Overwatch. And we got a banger for you tonight. My name is Sun Phoenix, and I'm joined by Kay. Welcome.
Hello, everybody. Thanks for introducing me, Sun. Yeah, we are going to have a stellar game on our hands this evening. Enigma and Beasty Boys, both names that we all know and love. So this is going to be a fun match to watch. I'm super excited.
I'm super excited as well because Beasty Boys have been tearing through the scene for the last 2 years. I think second only to ATK and ATK equivalents in recent history. So I'm excited to see, one of our sort of standard teams, our teams that are putting in tons of effort, working super hard, kind of take the battle to them. So it is going to be Beastie Boys taking on Enigma, as you mentioned. Super exciting. Guys, just a reminder, this is sponsored by PC International. PC International is a South African-based laptop and PC component seller. Provide the best quality IT equipment at the very best price. For the price match guarantee, you can head over to pcinternational.co.za to find out more information and to get involved. But yeah, Beastie Boys taking on Enigma, super exciting. So if you're new to the scene or you didn't follow as much last year, basically this is the second best team in the country from last year taking on the third best team in the country. Now, there's a few changes here and there, which we'll go through the rosters in just a moment here. But it is a top-tier matchup. Now, Kay, you had the pleasure of covering another top-tier matchup, the first best team taking on the fourth best team. So it really is a week full of strong, high-class matchups.
Yeah, that was a very interesting game. I'm not going to lie to you. Some of it, my brain couldn't even comprehend. I sat thinking about it afterwards and I was like, what did I just watch? But honestly, it was very, very great. Watching the top four teams performing in one weekend is going to be, it's just honestly peak Overwatch. And so I think tonight's game, just like a couple nights ago, it's just going to be as exciting, but I guess we're just going to have to see which team takes on top now.
Yeah, I'm super excited for that. I'm looking forward to seeing what these teams bring out. I spoke to Enigma, members of Enigma, let's say, earlier on, and they were saying that they're feeling, a sort of quiet confidence coming into this one. They've been working super hard, specifically working at what Beastie Boys is best at, what they're going to be bringing to the table, and working to figure out how best they can counter that. So I'm excited to see, high standards for these guys. They're kind of the challenges to the throne, so to put it, at least until Randberg came into the picture. So let's take a look at the roster of Beastie Boys, though. This is a roster we are mostly familiar with, but with a few new changes. Riposte and Amali on the tanks, Mito and Not on the DPS. I'm going Hamzo and Wallace on the supports. Different look from what they ended last year with. A few notable players missing here: Beepo, Visions, Condi, those sorts of guys. Riposte, though, if you were paying attention in 2019 and before, you'll recognize that name. One of the best main tanks to come out of South Africa, a former member of 2CP, most of which is on Enigma now. Amali, new player to this roster, not that much known about them. Mito and Not standouts for this team in the past. Mito especially, I think, projectile player of much repute, and Not no slouch on that hit scan DPS role. Hamzo, one of the lesser known players on these teams coming into last year, but proved himself more than capable of hanging out with the rest of the Beastie Boys. And Wallace, we know him well for his shenanigans on that Lucio. One of the more aggressive Lucios. I gave some flack to Newt for getting aggressive, but Wallace is really the pioneer of that play style in South Africa, I think, for the most part. So I'm excited to see what he can do, especially on the kind of team that gives him that sort of freedom. So let's take a look at Enigma here, Kay.
All right, so we're going to be looking at Enigma. So the tank lineup is Blur and Vertigo. It's a bit of a switch because obviously we saw Stalker leave Enigma. That is who we saw last time as their main tank. So Blur is stepping in on that main tank role. We know Blur very well. So we are going to see today how he plays his heroes, see that aggression. Vertigo, we obviously know she is the queen of peel for her backline. she's known for that. So we're going to be able to see how that comes into play. And then looking at their DPS, we're going to see Jelly Doodle on the hit scan, and Miniteg, we know and love him on the Hanzo as an insane projectile hero player. So yeah, that's going to be fun to watch. And then we have Tox and Fluffy as their support lineup. I mean, Tox is Mercy, Tox is Lucio. We can talk about Tox all day. And Fluffy, one of the best flex supports in South Africa, I would say. So we're going to be able to see really how this team has come together with Below now in their roster and see what they can really bring to the table today. I'm excited.
Yeah, I think Blur, obviously a player that's very familiar with all these players. Jelly from Evo, Mini from Cubs. He's coached many of these players before. He's obviously quite good friends with all these players. So a kind of player who should slot in very, very easily with the squad. If you weren't paying attention before last year, he was a champion level main tank for Goliath Gaming in 2019, helped take them to a championship win over the team that would become ATK the next year. So strong main tank. It's taken a year off, on and off, I guess. Spent some time with Leyden last year, but should slot in very easily into this Enigma squad. So let's take a look at the maps before we jump in. And we're going to be starting on Busan here. So interesting stat about Busan. Was picked every time except once last week. The team that didn't pick it was Enigma. So funnily enough, we will be starting there today. But what are your thoughts on Busan as a map as far as these two teams are concerned?
Well, I think Busan is a very versatile map, got different points that different types of comps that can be played. We've obviously got Mega Base, where we generally see people running Brawl, but lately we've also seen that Ball and kind of Dive comp coming into play. So I think it's going to be very interesting to see whether their Beastie Boys are going to come out with that general comp that we kind of know they're running with that diving sort of, free reign with their hero pool, and whether Enigma are going to match that, or whether they've got another strat to come out and match that so that they can hold their own on those points.
Yeah, we're going to have to see. We are starting here on Mecha Base. Now, Enigma, if we're looking at these two teams, we're expecting them to run the more meta compositions. We're expecting them to come in with clean practice and pristine execution. And if we're looking at that, what we've been seeing recently in our, not this week, we'll probably see a little bit of this week's stuff later on, but lots of Doomfist and May on this particular point. So interesting to see if they choose to run that. Jelly's going to open things up on the Symmetra, but I imagine he'll switch on to something else. Now, he's a hero that favors the soldier a player rather that favors the soldier quite heavily. You think we're going to see him run that, or some other hit scan in that role?
I think definitely. I think if Jelly finds the need for Soldier, we all know how crazy his abilities can be with that Soldier 76. And so I feel if they feel that that's needed in their composition at that time, then they will definitely switch him over to that, because if he's on a role he's comfortable with, on a hero he's comfortable with, he can really excel and really get those picks that the team needs.
Yeah, couldn't agree more. He is going to come out here on the Symmetra as the two teams approach the battle here past, getting pressured back quite early, losing his shield quite a lot, getting shattered down, taken down straight away. Blur, main tank difference to start things off here. Miley going to drop soon after, and now they can get set up and move towards point here. We can start for Enigma, but there's still a couple of cleanup kills they need to get here before they can feel comfortable on this point. Blur, yeah, I was going to say, wandering off the map there. I'm not quite sure if he was cognizant of what he was doing, but this is a classic Blur move. Disconnect at the earliest possible convenience.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, I mean, showing, honestly, just playing exceptionally well on that first team fight, and then just casually disconnecting because, why not?
It's a nightmare casting with this bruh, because he's like, never in the game, but he's not like, he doesn't disconnect out of Discord. He has these long pauses. So then you stop talking, waiting for him to talk, and then you start talking, and then he starts talking about something that we were talking about 8 minutes ago, and you're like, wow, this is awful. So I know how this feels.
Deja vu.
And yeah, he's not even in Makande anymore. I think he's in Joburg now. So the bad internet follows him wherever he goes.
Yeah, it's just unfortunate. But I'm really, really liking this sim pick. I don't think we see it very often in brawl compositions, and I don't think the Beastie Boys were quite ready for that because we saw that they were just able to aggress onto them, and then all of a sudden they were 2 picks down, and now we see Enigma's flip point. So I think it's a very, very interesting decision for Enigma, but I back it.
Yeah, but it's quite a unusual one for this point. We see it a lot on some of the other control maps. I mean, obviously, Night Market springs to mind very obviously. Looking at the other side, Beastie Boy is going to be running a double hit scan. Mito, a very capable hit scan, and I think the Ashe is his iconic hero, if any hero is his iconic hero. I think he prefers the Widowmaker, but the Ashe gives you a lot more utility in team fights. So makes a lot of sense here. Mito's already set up on the high ground. You guys can't see it on screen now, but he's just above to top right of Minitek here. And that's kind of what he's going to want to be doing throughout the series if he chooses to stay on that. However, the composition I think that Enigma running deal pretty well with what Beastie Boys are coming out with, and we saw that play out in the first fight.
Yeah, I'm actually wondering if Beastie Boys are going to look at this composition and switch up a hero or two. Just to kind of deal with that, the aggression that can basically help, because obviously they've got the Mei, and the Mei really pushes with the tanks and she backs the tanks. And you don't have that same kind of pressure with the McCree. He can get a stun off, but he doesn't provide that utility of the wall and the freezing that can really make Ryan's life hell. So I'm actually wondering if they're going to stick on this composition, especially we can see the difference between the BAP and the Ana. The BAP Fluffy with already 64% on ult, and we know how strong that window can be just with the zoning and the fire strike. So I'm also wondering if Hamzo, if Ana's a comfort pick, or whether they're playing specifically for that nano boost, and how that's going to come into play with these two teams fighting each other.
Yeah, the nano boost really only synergizes here with the Reinhardt, right? I mean, Wallace is good, but you don't usually pick the boost hero on purpose. And so I wonder then if Minitek's Mei is really a great counter here coming out the gate straight away, because Riposte really doesn't want to be forced to be the major damage dealer from his team. He wants to just make some space for Mito and Newt, and if he's going to be receiving nano boost, he's going to want to get aggressive with that. Mini's just going to cut him off, because Mini's a pretty skilled Mei, and he's going to know exactly how to use those walls to isolate Riposte and allow Blur to make that difference on the main tank.
I think it's going to be very interesting to see how many plays with those walls and with the freezing of Riposte, because we know how a Ryan can just be shut down by that freeze, even if he is nanoed.
One thing to note here, guys, as we do get back underway, is that Blur has basically died without giving away any ult charge, which is one good thing, but he does have to now rejoin the fight. And as you can see here, they've already rejoined the side on the side of Beastie Boys. He's going to drop down off the high ground. Riposte going to lead things for his team here, backed up by Amali. And you can see here the hit scan DPS on the high ground, and that's what they're looking to do here. Finds one, finds another. Not after a good start here. That's so unfortunate to see that disconnect from Blur really cost them this position here. They had to pull back, and they got kind of pressured a ton from that high ground.
Yeah, that was just really unfortunate. You really need your Rhine in those engages, especially when you're holding on point like they were, because we saw them, we saw Mito and we saw not going high ground. So if you're holding on point, you need that Rhine shield to be able to stay on that point. Otherwise, you have to fall back, and then because you've got no shield, you're going to get picked off.
Oh, window comes out earlier though. We mentioned that Fluffy's building that nice and early. Nano onto Ryan here, but isolated by Minitek. Shadow comes down, but I believe he was frozen up or blocked there by Blur. And now the red team can move nice and aggressively here to clean things up. Jelly with the invisible laser beam. I can't imagine anything scarier here as he looks to clean up the rest of the red players. Kills going both directions here. Bob going to be committed actually, and they're actually turning this one around. Beastie Boys finding a couple of kills here as Blur respawns, Hamza respawns. So few players of Alive. Peach can't even find who's involved in the fight here as the Beastie Boys retake that team fight.
Yeah, I really like that aggression from Fluffy using that wall, using the window early. And obviously we commented, oh, there's an ulti from the Sigma.
Gravitic Flux there, starting things off. Finds one kill onto Mito. Good hero to get rid of, but they still have to worry about not here in the background. Instead, it's Amiley. It's going to get into some fisticuffs here with Jelly Doodle on the front line. Repulse finds one Shadow from the back, though. Gets the kill onto not a critical kill to get the charge through onto Amiley, but a huge sound barrier. Going to keep the team alive here. Wallace, not only known for his aggressive plays, but he's a master of the Lucio's spell kit here. Mito is back in the fray, though. He finds Fluffy. Can he find any more? Healing very limited now for our red team here. As Mealy take 1 HP, taken down by Wallace. Jelly Doodle looking to get these cleanup kills. I'm not so hot on the Symmetra pick this round. I don't think it's working out quite that well as Verdi pumps the damage in from the balls here. Queen Appeal. Nope, let's not do that. Jelly Doodle under pressure here, but the sound barrier comes out, and that might be exactly what Enigma needs to push this fight over the edge.
Yeah, there was a lot of also were thrown out there. We saw the Nano coming out. We saw the really good initiation with Vertigo using Flux on that fight, and the clutch shatter from Blur catching 2 from behind. I was a bit worried about Jelly on the Symmetra, not gonna lie. As you said, the cleanup kills are a bit iffy at times. You feel like it should be a quicker disengage.
Yeah, but speaking of quickness, it's going to be a quick engage here as they move forward round the point with the help of Mini-Takes Blizzard getting rid of the lamp here, below with the lamp at his back as they move forward. And just put the pressure on. A couple of ultis committed there, but still a few in the bank here for Enigma to defend, and only about a fight and a half left.
Yeah, obviously we're going to be looking at Bob coming out, we're going to be looking at High Noon coming out, we're going to be looking at 4 ults basically from the Beastie Boys to be able to retake this. So we're going to need to see how Vertigo uses the ult.
Oh, Gravitic Flux finds exactly nothing there. Probably not what she was hoping for. Look at that. TP usage immediately. That is what they want the Symmetra for. It all makes sense now. Quickly relocate across the point. High Noon from the back, though. I think they need to be careful. Doesn't find any kills. The window is down the wall. Isolating people very nicely there. Mini take. And there we go. Riposte taken down immediately there. This is an interesting resurrection. Gets taken down. And that reset for Blur right at the start was really all that held him back here, it seems like. Because now that he's back in the mix, Enigma are pushing forward. 99% on the clock. The Shadow as a celebratory end to this one.
Yeah, obviously the middle of that got a bit wonky, but obviously when you're getting thrown out of a game because of your internet and then thrown back into a game and then you've got to keep that mentality, it does throw you a little bit, but we see Enigma jump right back into it. We saw they knew exactly what ults they were going to use that fight. They used them, they executed it. It was a bit unfortunate with the Sigma ult catching nobody, but we see that they ran through that, they used the Sim TP, they've got the strats, and I think I'm very excited to see what they carry on pulling out because Enigma is looking like a very strong team at the moment.
I love that sim strat, man. I think we don't see the teleporter used enough as a positioning tool. I mean, it's really all it's used for. It's just used for initiation usually, though. So I loved seeing that come out. Different look entirely here now for Enigma. Both teams, in fact, going to be doing something different. Mito on the Pharah, well known for this hero, so going to be to pumping in damage from the top. But look at this aggression coming out from Enigma, putting the pressure on, but taking so much damage in the meanwhile. They haven't gotten any kills yet, as Fluffy looks to keep the team healthy there. But Blur, he gets aggressive and is immediately taken down. Vertigo not able to keep him alive, but they have the better positioning here. They can pick up 1 kill to even up the fight here. That's going to serve them well. The sleep comes out on someone, not sure who. Oh no, Jelly! The poor boy taking a nap on the job, and Mito going to get rid of him before he can be a pesky nuisance once again. And look at this, not enough. Now with the freedom to do what he likes, Blur's rejoined the fray, but it's too little too late for the big angry scientist. He's going to get taken down here, and Beastie Boys once again going to set the pace.
Yeah, I really liked the comp that Enigma came out with, but unfortunately against a spam-oriented comp that the Beastie Boys are running, I think it's really going to be lacking because Enigma's team comp is all about the speed and getting those picks, but because of the movement abilities and the spam that they can put into the team, I think they're going to struggle. Yeah,
they might struggle, but I'm going to start things off here. They trade kills. Wallace going down, Tox going down. I'd rather lose the Lucio in the Mercy here, though, it has to be said. But the past, big angry monkey. In fact, not angry yet. Can be angry whenever he chooses here. But this is a very scrappy fight. Kills going in both directions. But I think with both healers dead on the red team, They're really going to struggle to push this one back. Riposte hacked up, but not that much damage coming through. Blur, though, finds on the knock, gets that kill. It gets killed in turn. A really scrappy fight, and that favors the team in control of the point here. But Minite cleans things up. He picks up a double, and that's going to secure Enigma this point. So a nice quick flip back.
Oh, that was really nice. I mean, we still see the Riposters on point, and there was a pulse bomb thrown out. So I'm going Hamzo going down. I mean, this fight is still going on. There's been no disengage here.
This is where I would have disengaged, though. The point's already been flipped. They've gotten set and up now, and they forced him back. So that was... Enigma will take that nice 20% for a free fight.
Yeah, I think Mini's hacks coming in clutch there. There were a lot of moments where they could have disengaged or they could have gotten kills, but that hack just came out at a key point, and he was just able to honestly laser them down with the SMG that we know Sombra has.
Yeah, exactly. Now, does have the EMP at the ready here. Mini take probably going to want something off. There we go. Straight away, they get that down. They commit the sound barrier as well, and the bomb. A nice combo there. A lot of ults committed, but it is going to secure them this fight. Now they can draw it out if they choose to. The Valk was committed on the other side. The res looking to come out, does actually get Riposte back up, but this is kind of a bad res here. If I'm Riposte, I want to get out of here. Bringing me back to life is really not going to help us win this game, unfortunately. But yeah, Enigma looking in control once again.
Yeah, that was a very, very nice. You could see the synergy that was coming out there. You saw that Enigma knew exactly which ults they were using, and they only used those ults. And obviously Tox's ult just to stabilize, but that was a really nice hack bomb. I enjoyed that, especially getting the pick on that monkey. That was so key.
Yeah, absolutely agreed. Getting aggressive now is one monkey. Blur looking to put the pressure on, but Vertigo is going to suck up all that damage with the D-Matrix. Gets rid of, loses a make in the process, but happily trade that for the Fairy Life. A Coalescence triple kill from Fluffy here, somewhere in the mix. He's executing fools left, right, and center. Blur going to follow up alongside Jelly Doodle, and Enigma looking firmly in control of this map right now. Busan going to go the way of Enigma, and they are setting the pace here. Slow starts to both maps, but they look drilled.
Yeah, as I said, I was kind of worried about their composition, but they really brought it together. They just needed to get those hacks on the targets. Of course, the triple kill with the Coalescence for player of the game, because why not?
So it gets rid of the Pharah, and then it's just clean up from here. Blur Angry Monkey on the front line. Gets one. Gets the follow-up onto Wallace. Oh, man.
Yeah, absolutely. Hugh is tracking by the Moira player, but anyway, yeah, no, that was a very, very good showing by Enigma. I really enjoyed the way that they just brought it together with that Sombra. I think I've said that 3 times now. But yeah, I feel like there was a little bit of a disconnect with the Beastie Boys, because Wallace was raising when the fight was evidently over, and then unfortunately it just caused stagger kills. So I think in that map specifically, we saw them having a few stagger kills that cost them, I'm pretty sure, at least 30%, where they should have been regrouping and taking another fight with their ults. And so I think we just need that. I want to see them clean that up a little bit. Just have that communication more within the team, so that they know, okay, cool, this is when we're going to disengage, this is when we're going to re-engage.
Well, okay, it seems like that was the B squad, because they're bringing in the A squad now. Amali getting sent out, being replaced by Visions. My favorite stat about Visions is he's the only person who's been in every single grand finals for the final tournament of the year. So really a seasoned veteran.
Definitely.
There's one, how many did you win? I think he won 3 of them. 2 with Eden and 1 with Goliath Gaming. So really a seasoned player who knows how to rally a team around him and lead a squad to victory. And Beastie Boys are going to need a little bit of leadership here, a little bit of help, I think.
Yeah, just obviously the demonstration of last game, we saw that there were some really nice ideas. There were some executions that we saw. There was a thought in process, but it was a bit of a failed execution, and I think that's where they were lacking. But I feel this is definitely a team where their mental game, especially with Visions coming in, their mental game is going to be right back up there, and they can definitely take it to Enigma and make this the tight series that everybody is expecting.
Yeah, I think as I said, I spoke to some of the Enigma guys before the match, and what stood out to me was they said they had a structure, they had a plan, and it really showed on that map. We saw the way they used the Symmetra on Mecha Base. We saw the way they executed the dive on the second map there, and that was really impressive. And the ultimate combo, obviously, we saw with the EMP bomb. They're coming in with a plan here. Each player knows what they need to do on their hero to help the team win, and they're comboing their ultimates and abilities extremely effectively. So I'm excited to see what we're going to see on our next map. It's not going to be Rialto for the first time in a long time, because that's an extremely popular map. It's going to be Junkertown instead. So what are your thoughts about Junkertown as a map?
Junkertown as a map, I think the first and second points are very good for your long-range hit scans, your snipers especially. You can get some clutch picks with the Widowmaker to really hold those long sight lines. But as soon as you get into point 3, then it becomes Brawl Town. And then obviously you see a lot of teams switching to that Reinhardt, that Zarya, just to keep, because obviously it's much close quarters. But yeah, I think Junkertown is a very particular map. It's going to favor the hit scans that are more adept with the long range heroes. So I think we're going to need to see that Hanzo, we're going to need to see that Widow, and then definitely.
I think so. I think if you want Hanzo Widow, both of these teams are pretty strong with that combo, right?
Definitely.
Not and Mito, pretty strong on the Widow and Hanzo respectively, and then Jelly and Minitech. I mean, Minitech's probably one of the best Hanzos, quote unquote, in the country, at least in the South African scene. Guys, hashtag ZA Overwatch if you want your tweet featured on stream. And Fluffy on his signature hero getting play of the game. I think Tox wishes he could play that hero, because I know he fancies himself quite the expert Moira player. Very adept at stealing all the kills like that. But unfortunately, Fluffy's stealing his thunder on this occasion. But there we go. Okay, you called it. Hanzo Widow. And it is going to be Mito and Not versus Minitech and Jelly on the Hanzo and Widow, respectively. Support line here is quite interesting, though, for both teams.
Yeah, I think it is very interesting, because generally when you're running that dive composition, you're running the Ana because you want those far range heals. So it's going to be interesting to see how Hanzo makes Baptiste work with heroes that are going so far away from him the whole time to try and aim those orbs to get that healing that he needs.
Yeah. There's a bit of a strange choice, and they're quite low on healing. Just the volume of healing they can output is quite limited here. But who needs healing when Jelly Doodle is just going to execute the enemy healers? That forces the res out of Wallace now, so that's a big advantage for Enigma as they move forward. And look at that, Riposte dropping as well. This team is looking so well put together. Now Blur getting aggressive on the front line here as Jelly Doodle repositions himself, looking for some targets here, trying to find, if he keeps looking there, he might catch the Mercy. Looks like he's going to relocate here. And look at the crossfire. No. Where does he look? On the one end, he's getting wrecked by the Hanzo. And speaking of which, it's Jelly Doodle getting wrecked on the other end now as Enigma to recoup that kill with a resurrection coming out of Toxin Socks. Blur in the backline. Look at how they're splitting their attention here of the blue squad. Just kind of making them look all over the place, trying to figure out where is the damage coming from. Jelly Doodle, the damage coming from Mito once again. He gets taken down, losing the duel for the second time in this round now. Vision, getting demeched here. So this is a really scrappy fight, but getting a bit stalled out here, Enigma.
Yeah, as we can see, Fluffy gets a pick on Mito. That is a lot of their damage gone, considering Mito, but it's been raised, so it's absolutely fine. But then it just goes down, so that's a bit unfortunate to the Rock.
Nice combo play there. Yeah, Vision's going to drop in Baby Diva form, and they get aggressive now onto the front line, and that kill onto Blur might just seal the deal. No. Wins the Widow duel there, and all blue in the kill feed here as Beastie Boys clean things up nice and quick here. Do you think we see any switch-ups from Enigma here, or do you think they're happy with what they've got?
I think they're happy with what they have. I mean, that was a nice headshot. We see Not's ulti coming out, but we're also going to be looking towards Mito's dragons.
Dragons could come out here. Choose to commit it. Gravitic Flux instead. Going to be how Enigma choose to start the fight. That's a pretty good ulti actually. It does a ton of damage. Not finding any kills just yet. Going to put them under pressure here to get back. But Beasty Boys have fired back with 2 kills here. Vertigo and Tox going down as Not rains the damage in. What a shot. You could barely make out Jelly Doodle here. Just on the corner there. But Not could see him perfectly fine and rips his head off. And now Enigma in a bit of trouble here. Only a minute and a half left on the clock.
I'm wondering if Jelly is sitting in spawn to switch after his infrared drops.
Yeah, he will.
There you go. Yeah, they need to switch to double bubble. Unfortunately, Riposte and Visions are they're too tanky. Their snipers are not cleaving through that front line.
Yeah.
And so I think this was a good switch for them, so that they can really match that front line damage that they are actually needing to push up against.
Minitake does stay on the Hanzo here. Blur drops, not getting healed up quite in time there by Fluffy. Not going to claim another head here for the Beastie Boys. Look at this. They've got nobody to deal with him. Although they do have Minitake, but he's not finding the angle on that Widowmaker. And he's fighting into 2 snipers on the other side. It's really up to Jelly and the rest of the squad to split the attention here once again of Enigma.
That was just unfortunate. Jelly was looking for a pick from behind and Not's ult came out and then he just had to go back.
Under pressure here, Not dropped to half HP. Minitake raining in storm arrows from across the map as Blur looks to find that Widowmaker. I think they've identified that as a key pick, but if they can get Wallace, that might even be better. He's lost track of him now as Blur looks to build up towards that ulti. Storm arrows put in here by Minitake. Not going to find anything yet. Neither does Vision's ultimate there, the self-destruct. Oh, they're forcing them back into the corner, and that is a huge dragon potentially. It does find Mito. The damage on Vertigo gets rid of Riposte, but the res comes out. But I think they've done just barely enough here, Enigma, to clean up this team fight. Only a couple of heroes left here. They've tracked down that Widow. Jelly's going to claim this head. No problem. Oh, got to be careful, though. Oh, he's gotten healed up, but now, no. With the big angry monkey on top of you, really not likely to get anything done. But the spawns are coming back in here. But Enigma are doing an incredible job of cleaning them up as soon as they come through. Seem to get rid of Wallace here on the point. Riposte is taken down, and that is going to be the first point cap. No, there's still a ball in the mix. Just get out of here. Let's move on, guys.
Yeah, we see they obviously, because of overtime, they've only got 2.5 minutes, but I'm much happier with the switch. You can see that they're doing a lot more, just having Vertigo with those bubbles, being able to bubble Blur. Fluffy's built up Nano. You can do a lot more with the double bubble, and we've actually seen Visions now switch to Ball from the Diva, so I don't know how him and Riposte are going to work together with their jumps, but I think it's going to be interesting to see how they make the Ball fit into this.
Oh, Blur in the backline, they're doing a ton of damage. I heard a Graviton Surge. It didn't seem like it found anything there. Second big ulti whiff here from Vertigo in the series. Hasn't cost him too much yet, but with Blur going down, that might be the signal to back off here from Enigma. Yeah, Not finds that kill. He finds another one. This man is on fire. He's untouched. This is Time who plays here, or the Pine plays, sorry, in the backline here as he picks up the 4th kill of this team fight. And that's going to be another firm hold from Beastie Boys.
Yeah, that was a very nice one from them. I was waiting to see that Nano come out, but unfortunately Blur just got taken down way too soon, and so now we can see Riposte is almost up to that primal. We can see Mito's got those dragons, and Not, even though he just switched on to McCree because of that triple kill and those headshots that were just coming out left, right, and center, he's on 73% to his ult.
Blur, once again, the frontliner here. Look at the damage being through. He's just built up ulti as well. He's going to try and put Wallace in a corner, and he does just that. That means no res available now, and he can get aggressive onto the DPS. He needs to be careful not to drop down on his own here, but oh, there we go. There's the backup. They take down the healers. So much damage. Blur really carving up the Beastie Boys backline there, making space for his team to come through, and Jelly and clean things up there. Really nice combo play from Enigma once again, and they're going to work their way through to the second point just barely once again here. Beastie Boys still going to stall, and Vision's going down. I don't think they should come in here again, but they've done so in the past, and no, looks like they're going to just get set up to defend the third point.
Yeah, I really like that. I was kind of worried when Blow went in there with Primal because it didn't look like he had any follow, but then Jelly comes in right on the scene and we see that they clean up together, and that was a very, very nice team fight from them. I'm looking for Vision's ult to see what he does with that, and then also Not's ult that's coming up now.
Oh, Jelly's ult is probably the one they should be most concerned about at the moment as he gets aggressive. Blur and Jelly are doing a great job working together. It's reminiscent of Zoom and Auntie on OG, just carving up the enemy backline, getting in there and just making such a nuisance of themselves here. But they have lost a couple of their own backline now, and that means Visions feels comfortable to get aggressive here. He's built up the minefield, and they're just going to force Enigma back. Minitake did commit his dragons here, but Jelly is still sitting on his ultimate or Storm Arrow from above Nito with the damage boost as well, but they find Riposte instead. So now Enigma can push forward. Just got to clear these minefields one step at a time, boys. Don't get caught out by that, but it's not finds Blur. So both main tanks down, but spawn advantage favors the blue team, but it's the red team getting the picks here. Minitake did find Wallace, and now Jelly can look to get aggressive here with the armor pack on his back as Blur rejoins the fray once again. Jelly finds not. He's in the backline. Look at this man, untouchable here. Visions forced to peel here, but he's not the king of peel. She's on the other team as Blur gets aggressive once again. The grab, I think Visions caught himself in the grab there. I think once again Vertigo not finding too much of that. Angry Monkey though, Blur gets the kill onto Not. He's gonna spam that body and just make sure the res doesn't come out here as Riposte goes down on the front line. Enigma are making a resilient push here towards the third point. Visions comes in on the ball. I'm going Hanzo with the coalescence onto Blur. But Vito on the Doomfist, that's probably going to seal the deal here. He can get a few kills. Not easy to take down with that awful fluctuating health pool as he looks to just clean up the backline here. Oh, with the 360 no scope as well. And that's going to be that. But that's a push Enigma can be extremely happy with.
Yeah, especially after their first point and second point push, it did look a bit. It looked a bit shaky for them on first point. I think they, as much damage as that the Zen Bull does give you, if you're not getting those picks with your snipers, you're really struggling, especially against. Obviously, we saw the Winston Diva coming out. So if you're not getting those picks of the back line or just of the enemy snipers, then your front line can't push forward, and so then you end up just sitting there, dancing around payload until eventually you get pushed back and then you have to reset. So I really like the switch over to the Monkey and the Zarya. I think Blur and Jelly played that exceptionally well. You could see that they were really their communication was on point. They were going on the same targets. They were focusing that back line. Unfortunately, sometimes Blur didn't get out, but we saw that they did enough of an impact so that their backline could push forward and actually do more damage. And so then they were able to win the fights that way. And obviously, Mini on the Hanzo getting picks as usual. So we obviously can't discount that, putting in the damage. Even if he's not getting the picks, he's still putting in the damage. But yeah, I'm liking this Echo pick. We haven't seen a lot of Echo today, so I'm excited to see what Mito is going to do with this, and not obviously being on the Widow, so we can see how he carries on clicking heads like the first round.
Going to be a tough round to play Widow though. Look at this aggressive composition. Look at the aggressive play here. Straight, that's the enemy spawn, guys. You can't go in there, but they know exactly what they want to do. They shut down Visions at the start. Jelly does drop though, and that's probably going to be the signal to get a little bit defensive here. They might just pick up this kill on Riposte, but they can't hang around here with Jelly out of the fight. Hamza goes down. Not taken down as well. Blur chasing him into his spawn. Please, guys, let them leave the spawn so we can have a proper game here. But Enigma putting them under so much pressure.
I really, really like that pressure, because you don't want Riposte and Visions to be able to get set up. Immediately you see the switch, because they go, okay, we're not going to be fighting these people like this. We switch heroes.
This is the iconic Mito hero. That doesn't make sense. You don't understand. That's what's happening here. They're trading kills 50-50 here. Both teams getting picks on the other side, and that's really going to favor the attacking team. But Vertigo built up such a quick self-destruct here. He's going to pop that. No, she gets taken down by the turret. Oh, so unfortunate. That's a 600 HP turret shot there. Just gets rid of the Diva and a mech, and that kind of just pushes Beastie Boys through this team fight. And now they can finally get some purchase on the point. But about a minute and a quarter burnt off the clock.
Yeah, I really like that aggression from Enigma, because obviously now the payload is still pushing through the two buildings, and they are going to have a recontest, and they've got a few ults they can be able to throw into this.
Wallace hacked up there by Minitake. A great find. He's almost at his ultimate now as well. Jelly sitting on the pulse bomb here. So a lot of tools available for them to win the final side of Enigma. He throws that down. Not sure what happened. It got Riposte. Nice play from Jelly Doodle, and they can just clean things up here. But oh, bro, why did you use that? Why did you? Yeah, okay, fair enough. honestly, worth for the moment. Oh, there's another one. You gotta take it, dude. I take it all back. It was a bad ulti, but it looked cool.
I mean, yes, fair point. It did look cool. But unfortunately, now we're going to be seeing that Beastie Boys are definitely up in the alt economy. I think that was a bit of there were too many alts invested in that fight. That was a lot of alts, but it's okay. We'll see what they can do with it.
Well, they're playing into Molten Core. There's a self-destruct in the mix as well. Riposte has his ultimate as well. Look at that. Immediate cleanup blur. Don't you wish you had Primal Rage right about now as they get a full 6-man wipe with no kills in return?
Yeah, that was just unfortunate having used that Primal Rage the fight before. And we see that Beastie Boys are still sitting on the Winston ult, the Diva. They've still got 4 ults, and Wallace is obviously coming up to his sound barrier. Tox almost has his, but they still are winning this the ult economy. So we need to see whether they're going to take clean engages or just dry push, and how they're going to work that.
Well, that's a good start for the Beastie Boys here. They picked up a double kill already. They have thrown in the beat here, but literally nothing other than the Coalescence else. So a good team fight for the Beastie Boys now. They're just going to clean up these last couple of stragglers. And I mean, look at that. Still with 4 ultis, almost 5 ultis in the bag here. Tox did commit his beat. Sorry, it wasn't Wallace. So they've got that as well. This next fight is going to be super tough for the Red team.
Yeah, I feel like they having a Sombra ult right about now would have been great going into the last point, the last little push of this point, because you can shut down so many of Beastie Boys ults with that. We see Riposte dropping low.
Oh, this bomb? Oh, I think that might have gotten the Diva mech there, but took a ton of damage, did Vertigo, but they got rid of the turret there with the Pulse Bomb, probably not the world's best trade. That bomb looks big, it gets Mito, but he's already sprayed his Molten Core all over the place. Watch your step, ladies and gentlemen. You don't want to get your feet burned as they push forward, but it's Beastie Boys all in the kill feed here as they push Enigma back. Not many ults committed for Enigma there, 2 in fact, and Jelly's already back up to half, but they do have that EMP now to win the next team fight, and I think the name of the game here is just stopping the momentum.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, we can see Jelly is tired of the tank lineup of Beastie Boys, and now he has switched to Reaper. Reaper is very good at cleaving through those large HP targets, so we'll see what he can do in these close quarters now. But we see both teams are going to stay with the monkey. They're both staying with the aggressive kind of dive.
Oh, nice EMP from Minitic. He works his way around the corner here as Blur looks to clean up some kills. They do get I'm Going Havoc, but they lose Tox in the meantime. But if they can brawl with this Reaper on the point, no. Doesn't get the chance to pop his ulti off there. Oh, he actually did. He got rid of Vertigo. But she tanked all the shots apparently as they get the kill onto Mito. Riposte follows quickly. Visions, just a couple of squishies in the background there. So nice work from Enigma. They have finally stopped that momentum, but that was the first of 3 minutes of fights.
Yeah, I think that was very important that they were aggressive there with that ultimate, but we still see Riposte Visions. They're going to be coming up to the tank ult. Mito is going to be able to clear point. I really like that hack onto Mito.
Yeah, they've been putting a lot of pressure onto the Torbjorn here. It's a good call. You don't want to let Mito do whatever he wants here as they work their way forward. Enigma, they did find Riposte there, hacked up by Minitig, and that's going to be enough to stop this fight. But I saw a flanking Torbjorn there. If you pay attention there in the distance, you can see him working his way around. Here he is with the Molten Core. I hope Enigma are ready for this. And it looks like they are not. That's a low Sombra. Molten Core comes through now. So does the self-destruct. It looks like it's going to be big. It gets Tox and Tox. It got the mech as well, I think. Yeah, and the Molten Core helping with that. Not has matched Jelly Doodle on the Reaper here, and that's helping them force their way through the tank line of Enigma. And they're going to take another fight. It's looking quite dire now. They need to hold this point for Enigma.
Yeah, that was a bit unfortunate. They just weren't expecting that flanking Torbjorn. Your awareness needs to be so careful on this point to know exactly where the heroes are. And I think that little lapse basically cost them that team fight where they would have been able to hold had they just been taking care of where Mito was.
Oh, die in the background here. Jelly looking to pick up those kills. Vertigo throws the ultimate, finds Not No Nod and Vision's mech. So good work from her to clean up a couple of kills there. Now Enigma can force Beastie Boys back here. Look to get some kills in the return. Jelly will to go down, but he's not going to complain too much about that. As they get a brief stagger onto Vision's there. They might pick off Wallace. No, they'll let him escape with their life, showing a bit of mercy there on the side of Enigma.
Yeah, no, that was a very clean engage and very clean disengage from Enigma. I think that's really what we need because they've got 60 seconds left, and they're going to be going into a Death Blossom and a
EMP to start things off here. I might have wanted to wait on that just a little bit because they might get another fight out of this. Wallace, though, did an incredible job not getting caught in that and does use his sound barrier. And now, not free to do whatever he wants. The Death Blossom finds 2 kills, puts a ton of damage onto Jelly Doodle as well. And now Beastie Boys are in the driver's seat, pushing their way through. Blur did finally kill into I'm Going Hamzo, and the spawns do favor them. So if they can just regroup here quickly without getting staggered too poorly, but they don't have that much space here. It's just that yellow box of victory that they have to work their way through on the side of Beastie Boys. So Beastie Boys are going to clean them up as they come up one at a time. And this is a good start. Molten Core, look at that, zoning the point out so nicely. Blur can't get aggressive. He needs to touch the point. But this now with the bomb coming in, it's going to be disastrous. And that just clears the point. And Beastie Boys even the series.
Yeah, unfortunately, Mito was just able to get that ult. I mean, as you said, we know Mito for his Torbjorn, and he was able to ult on point. And as tanky as your tank lineup is, they cannot walk through a whole lot of Molten Core without dying.
Yeah.
And they just weren't able to touch. And yeah, that makes the series 1-1.
Guys, is turning into quite the battle. So I think the cleanliness we saw, or the pristine execution, a bit lacking on that occasion from Enigma. They weren't quite as clean as they looked on Busan. I felt. Do you agree with that, Kay?
Oh no, definitely. I feel like their engages, it looked like there was a bit of a communication error in some of their engages because Mini went in with the hack, but then the follow-up was a little bit slow, and then Wallace was able to get out that sound barrier. I'm just talking about the end fight here. Mm-hmm. And so in that occasion, you would be thinking, okay, no, we know that this Lucio's got this ult. Are we going to wait this out? How are we going to play this? And it feels like they just, unfortunately, I don't really know what the communication was like at that stage, but it didn't seem as clean as it has been when they were attacking.
Yeah, no, definitely not. You mentioned, of course, how Jelly and Blur, we both did, in fact, how well they were working together on that attack, especially on the initiations. We just didn't really get that sense on the defense, and they kind of let a lot of space go between fights when they really didn't have a choice. So Beastie Boys kind of recovering there. I think you can immediately see the difference that Visions makes to the team as well. They were looking a lot more put together. They were making crisp switches at the right time and really forcing Enigma to respond to the kind of damage they were putting out in the compositions they were presenting them with. So Beastie Boys do even up the series here. And our third map is going to be King's Row. So all of you are hoping we would break that rhythm. You are unfortunately not going to get what you're looking for.
No, unfortunately not. I mean, everybody loves King's Row. We all play King's Row. We know the ins and outs, but teams always manage to throw us for a loop and throw some Bastion on top of the statue. I'm still going to keep that in mind.
That's a Luke classic. Anytime he's on a team, they're going to open King's Row with that. I've seen him do that so many times.
Yeah, but as we said, King's Row, everybody loves King's Row. We love seeing what teams bring to it, whether they run the brawl, whether they run the spam, and just how, whether it be two brawls clashing and the communication and the synergy of the teams, or whether it be just obviously that individual potential of, say, for example, Mito on a Pharah, just putting in that spam damage. But you see, Unreal Nick, if King's Row is not third map, then we've lost the heart. Well, Unreal Nick, you can be super happy because obviously we're playing King's Row.
Just to put it in perspective, yesterday your two stupid teams didn't play Kings Row. They played Hollywood instead, like a bunch of losers. And that broke a 10-game streak of Kings Row.
Oh no!
Yeah, we'd had Kings Row in 10 series in a row in South African Overwatch. So thanks for that. I'm holding you responsible for it.
I'll have a big talking to both of them. I'm so sorry about that. Oh no. All right, so we do see Enigma coming out. Okay, no, I was just about to say coming out with the Orisa. I'm not so sure about that. But we see the dive. We see the comfort picks. We saw how well they played with it last game, the Beastie Boys, and they're sticking with that. So I'm excited to see how Enigma actually adapt to this, because they know how Beastie Boys have played it. So we're going to see if they can do anything differently to basically crack this lineup of the Meter on Torb and Riposte and Visions on those dive tanks.
Interesting to see here JD on the Hanzo here, Mini Take signature hero. Somebody was telling me, I can't remember who, jokes I can, I'm just not giving them credit. This is an OWL comp that's been run recently, Enigma kind of aping that, and it is the hit scan player who plays the Hanzo in this composition. Wallace and Visions, though, are going to open up the account here for the Beastie Boys, getting the first 2 kills of this Kings Row map and forcing Enigma back into a super awkward position here. Yeah, they're just going to get cleanup kills as Enigma try to regroup with the rest of the team here. And that's a minute off the clock already with really nothing to show for Enigma.
Yeah, that was just really unfortunate. I mean, when you are doing that rotation, it needs to be clean and you need to have a precise plan of action, where you're going, who you're targeting. And unfortunately, they just kind of got stuck on that high ground and they got 2 picks, and then it was just clean up from Beastie Boys. So we see Vertigo switch over to the Diva.
Yeah, wants to engage in some of that peeling like we've known. Is so good for the Fluffy, though. My man has built that window up super quick here and using it to good advantage for the Enigma squad here. They forced them so far back. Blur, though, gets very aggressive with the charge. That fan hammer, they get rid of Meteor, though, with the help of Fluffy, and that might just be enough for them to push through. Jelly Doodle, a little bit isolated here as Tox looks to clear the point here of any red bodies, and Fluffy just going to back up here. And yeah, great work from Enigma. Good recovery after a poor start. Just clean things up and cap that first point.
Yeah, definitely. I really liked that flank through, and then just using the window to get that 1 pick, and then once that 1 pick, then they just were able to be very aggressive on the other side. So they almost enveloped them without playing a spam comp, and I really liked that way of thinking. You could see they knew exactly what they wanted to do. They didn't look like they were choking at all. They know their plan. They know how to play this, especially with Vertigo on the Diva. We know it's her favorite hero, so she's going to know exactly how to back blow up and be able to, really peel for the back line.
Yeah, and it's a good response to the DPS on the other side. Oh, that's a risky Blizzard. It doesn't get eaten up. Soft Destruct goes through. They've already taken down Meteor, and Visions won't hit Pater with that ultimate. Riposte, though, finds Fluffy in the background, so healing now limited. And you can see Blur dropping super low here on the front line. That's going to force Tox to throw down the sound barrier, and just in a nick of time as it keeps Blur alive and helps them push forward. Not this could be big. No, he pops it a little bit early there. Not patient enough, not feeling like he could wait any longer there, and probably right as immediately Vertigo tracks him down and executes him. Vision's gonna drop as well, so Enigma picking up a good rhythm here.
Yeah, I really like the way that they used their ults. It was a bit of a strange ult. We don't normally see Maze ulting from that high up, but it was everybody just dropped off high ground, and then the people at the bottom, like Blur on the Rhine, were able to just clean that up.
Ainun comes out here. Jelly drops immediately. Wallace tracks him down there with a headshot. Not really something you're used to seeing, but if anybody's going to be capable of that, it's Wallace. Does pay for it with his life, though, but Blur dropping super low. Coalescence going to burn him down through his shield here, but they get rid of the Diva. But that's a lot of blue bodies on the point here. Vertigo isolated quite effectively here from the rest of Enigma, and Beastie Boys have finally stopped the momentum and in a pretty good spot.
Yeah, that was just unfortunate. They came so close. Oh, and we
hello,
still see
Tox. What are we doing?
Tox is still on payload. We saw them getting so close, but unfortunately, Beastie Boys were able to regroup and really stabilize exceptionally well. We saw Fluffy ulting from high ground, but he just wasn't able to keep his team healed up, and Jelly because he fell to Wallace with those headshots, unfortunately he wasn't able to do the damage that he needed to do with that McCree ult, and because that he fell so early in that fight, they really needed him to kind of push that through and just do that damage.
Yeah, speaking of damage, not pumping down Blur as he comes through that choke there. He's got his high noon as well now. Blur wants to get rid of the shield so he can use his ultimate. As soon as that goes down, he's probably going to pop it behind the barrier. No, we're going to look for that Widow instead. He gets the... What's the name in the front line there, but a bit anti-synergistic with his Mei, but it's not going to cost them here. Oh, that ultimate's going through. Vertigo says, goodbye, Mick. I have nowhere to go. Unfortunately, though, the kills are coming back the other direction, though. Blur all by his lonesome on the point. Riposte picks up a double. And Beastie Boys, this is a Beastie Boys classic. Just grind your way through a team fight from a disadvantage using your superior mechanics.
Yeah, that was a bit strange there with the ult from Blur. I know what they were thinking. They wanted to see if they could shatter everyone and then get everyone in that Mei ult as the shatter came out. But unfortunately, it was just the layering of the ults didn't work, and so Beastie Boys were able to get back in time. And yeah, they used a few ults. They only used 3 ults, and they were able to hold them.
Okay. Not really using anything here. They're just getting mowed down here as they come through the meat grinder, that choke, not doing them any favors. But they're all looking towards a couple of ultis, but I think they were hoping to... Oh, Wallace popping some squats there on the front line. Not quite sure who that was for. Probably Fluffy, former teammate of his, I want to say. No, that's not true. Yeah, Enigma struggling here, but I think they wanted to bait some ultis out here and then come in with a big ulti push. But BC Boys have so much in the back.
Yeah, I mean, we're looking at 2 support ults. We're looking at Mito's zoning ult. We know how well that goes just onto payload, and then you can't touch payload. But early window.
Yeah, that molten core forces them to commit the sound barrier as well. Not almost at his ultimate as well. The high noon could be a problem that Enigma have to deal with. Here it comes out from the background, doesn't kill anything, but they get rid of Fluffy, courtesy of Visions. Hammer down, comes through, doesn't seem to find anything though. That's a big ultimate, doesn't find anything, not quite. Vertigo gonna just be remixed here, but it's all blue, man. Beastie Boys is doing such a good job of surviving the initial onslaught and just firing back. As the hammer kill. Oh, me too. With the hammer kill, it's onto a baby D. That feels unfair.
Yeah, it's just unlucky. Yeah, I mean, we saw Enigma looked very put together. They knew exactly what they were doing on first point, and then as they were coming into just closing out second point, it just looked like they were going in and going in and going in. Even though they were using those ults preemptively, it just looked like they didn't really know. After that first ult, they didn't look like they had much of a plan for after that. So then they threw out a few ults, but the fights were all over the place. It was exceptionally chaotic. Whereas BC Boys, you saw, okay, they're going to use this ult, and it looked like they were just focusing targets better than Enigma were. And so those people were just being burst on as they were coming through the door or coming through the choke points.
Yeah, I think that composition from Beastie Boys really thrives in the chaos as well, though. I think Enigma wants to kind of marshal a very straightforward fight where you execute your ultimates while you get a couple of pick-offs of them there, you just clean up quickly. But Beastie Boys are doing an incredible job of thriving on the chaos, of staying split up, of just pumping in damage all the time. And even if you lose a couple of players off that initial initiation from Enigma, you just fire back, kill after kill after kill, and then you steamroll them over time. And that's BC Boys' biggest strength, because they've got that mechanical prowess, and Enigma have to find a way to work around that.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, we can see that they've switched their comp. They're running the Echo and the Ashe. They're obviously running the Ana as well now. So we'll see if that can actually curb the pure damage that's coming out from Beastie Boys, as you said, at pretty much all times.
Yeah. Doodle here on the Ashe, as you mentioned. When you're on the Echo here under so much pressure, needs to get out of there actually. To get rid of that turret, Blur even going to pop the bubble to make sure that nothing too dangerous occurs from that as they put the pressure on the front line. Vertigo did get demexed here, so that's immediately a troublesome start here for our Red squad. And now Mito picks up a quick double. Jelly in a ton of trouble here. Great target prioritization from the Beastie Boys here, and they're going to make quick work of this first point.
And Riposte dropped so low, but unfortunately by that stage, just there was no one alive to finish him off.
Yeah.
So that is a large time bank. I mean, we've seen teams hold. It's definitely a holdable position, but just the way that things are going at the moment, it just seems like Beastie Boys are they're just used to playing their play style, and they're just playing it better. And
Yeah.
Enigma don't really know how to answer for that.
Yeah, they're struggling to execute on a directive here. And this composition, I feel, plays into Beastie Boy's strengths. But Blur going to be a little bit stronger here as he gets the blue nano boost, just to be very confusing. But Visions shuts down both DPS. They get riposte for Enigma, but it's not going to matter as they're losing players left, right, and center. And that is ult efficiency. One ultimate, no DPS. Team fight over.
Yeah, I think I'm going Hamzo used ult there as well, just to keep his team
true.
alive. But we saw the nano came out, and unfortunately Blow was not able to build up primal. And I think that's what they were kind of counting on to get that ult, so that they could get that extra HP on their tanks. To basically offset all of that extra damage that's coming in from Beastie Boys, because now Mito's ult that can clear point easily.
Oh, not though. He's going to try and clear point here. Gets a Red Skull onto the Diva, and he's going to get out of that mech. She does have her ultimate to keep herself healthy here. Minitake says he's going to be a Diva. I've seen him be a Winston before, and I wasn't very impressed, but his actual Winston didn't do much better, so he's going to have to do a better job this time. But the sound barrier comes out. He pops the ultimate now. It gets taken down. He tries to get a squish kill there. Isn't able to do so, and now it's the backup, but he's lost a couple of heroes in the backline here. This Brigitte from Tox gonna have to do some heavy lifting to keep Enigma in the fray here. But with Jelly Doodle and the Echo still alive, they can hold this point quite effectively while they wait for Blur to get back. Coalescence comes out. That's another self-destruct from Visions, and it's gonna get another double. Jelly Doodle and Fluffy down. Riposte gonna clean up Tox. Hamzo gonna find another one, and with Minitake going down, there's nobody left here other than Blur on the ball, and that's not gonna stop anyone for very long here as the cart moves towards the golden box of victory. Beastie Boys have reclaimed the lead in the series.
That was so clean from Visions. I mean, we've spoken about how these tight street phases, there's just Beastie Boys know how to play in the chaos, and Visions was just getting pick after pick with bomb, where generally in this level of gameplay you don't see Diva bombs getting a lot of picks, and he was just getting 2 the whole time, and that's 2. Then easily Beastie Boys just aggress onto them, and then that's the fight over.
Yeah, no, that's pretty much how it was going down. And I think what it comes down now to for Enigma is the mental game. Like, you dominated, you got that confidence coming out of the first map, heading into Junkertown. You take a loss on Junkertown, but it's pretty close, right? You can feel pretty good about how that map played out. But then you come to King's Row, and it was really quite one-sided. You barely cap the first point, you don't cap the second point, and you get steamrolled by the enemy attack. And what are you saying if you're a coach of this team or you're on this team? What are you saying to your fellow teammates?
Oh my goodness. Okay. Well, honestly, you can get into your own head when it comes to this. You as a player, you are so affected, first of all, by yourself and by your teammates. If you feel like you're underperforming, you mentally boom yourself. And so you need to keep thinking to yourself, okay, that's fine. But if you look at it, you always say, okay, no, we're going to just play it as if we're 0-0. We're going to play it. We're going to play our game. We're going to focus on our game. We're going to focus on our strats. We know that we're good enough. We know that we can take it to this team. And you've just got to keep repeating that to yourself, because otherwise, if you start thinking, okay, no, I'm not doing enough in this team. I don't know what I'm doing. I feel lost, this, that, and the next thing, and you focus on the negatives, it really affects yourself and it affects your team. So you need to just carry on going into this game, especially now because Beastie Boys are up 2-1. Enigma need to go into this game knowing, okay, cool, we've got the mechanical skill, we've got the teamwork, we've got the communication, we've got the synergy. It's 0-0. Like, we can easily take this map and just focus on their gameplay.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. And I think maybe one of the most experienced rosters Enigma has. Every single one of these players has been playing for at least a year. Blur is a champion, in 2019.
Yeah.
Vertigo, Jade Doodle Fluff, we've all been around since 2018, 2019. Tox as well. So there's a team with a ton of experience. They're used to winning, they're used to losing, they're used to making big comebacks, and this is where they're going to have to make a comeback. The scoreline is only 2-1, but the momentum of the series has shifted completely in Beastie Boys' direction. Our next map here, though, will be Hanamura. We are ready to go here. It is going to be Hanamura here, our assault map. Now, we did see Team Gaming close things out this week on Volskaya after King's Row draw, and this is a map that could be drawn. It gets drawn quite often, actually.
Yeah.
But I think it's going to be up to Enigma here to set the pace like they did on Busan. Really take the aggression to the Beastie Boys, but they also, I think, need to be aware not to play the Beastie Boys game. Because the Beastie Boys want to play crappy nonsense comps where they split your attention, where they force you to take duels across the map, and that worked for a little bit. But once the Beastie Boys found their rhythm, they're going to dominate those 1v1s. And I think Enigma need to lean on their teamwork, lean on their coordination, lean on their plan and their structure. And that's going to push them through the Hanamura map.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, we saw on Busan, they looked a little bit shaky on Mecha Base, but obviously that was because of the blur disconnect.
Yeah.
But then when they came back, we saw that they had a plan. They were structured. You could see that their teamwork, this was what they were going to do. This is where they were going to go. They were a unit. And as you said, Beastie Boys like just having absolute chaos at all times. So if you can play your game and out-structure Beastie Boys' chaos, you can definitely take it to them on this map. Because this map, we know it's a rough choke point to actually get into first point Hanamura. If you break that, obviously then you've got to get through the second point.
Yeah.
So with that structure and the communication and the teamwork, I definitely feel like Enigma can take Beastie Boys on this map.
Yeah, and I think Beastie Boys, for them, the mandate is just more of the same. Play. I mean, I don't even know what goes on in that team's, comms or what's happening. I don't know. Maybe they're talking about their favorite animes or something. Who knows what the Beastie Boys is up to? But they're not coming in here with set structures. They're going to play what feels hot to them. Mito's going to probably play a Torbjorn, and on this map, it makes a ton of sense. Quite a popular hero here. Rapace is going to play Winston, probably. Visions is going to play Ball, Diva, or Zarya. And Hamza is going to play Ana. Wallace is probably going to play one and play Lucio and get boops off the back of the map. And that's the trap Enigma needs to not fall into, is playing that kind of foolish style where you just turn your brain off and pew down the lane. But yeah, it is going to be Hanamura here, guys, jumping into this map. Now, no changes for either team. We have to remind ourselves that they did bring in Visions after that first map. So that might be part of why they looked a little bit sloppy there and why they've picked it up so much. And I mentioned it before, but he is a champion, a multiple-time champion, an infinity-time finalist. So if any player can kind of bring the team together, it's him. And somebody in Enigma needs to step up and do the same for their team now.
Yeah, and I mean, there are definitely people who can do that from Enigma. I mean, you've spoken about it. They are everyone in their team. I mean, I think the least experience is probably Minnie. Coming over from Cubs, but everyone in their team has that potential to go, okay, cool, guys, like, let's get it together. Like, we've done this before. We know how to do this. We've got our team structure. We're friends. We've got that, that joint, togetherness. And so I feel like if somebody just steps up and goes, okay, cool, guys, it's fine, we shake it off, we're going to play our game. I mean, if you see the Beastie Boys lineup, it's exactly what we've been seeing.
Yeah.
The only difference now on Enigma is we're seeing, Jelly switched over from the Widow. So seeing a similar composition to what they were running on King's Row.
Yeah, I like the composition. I think the execution just needs a little bit of work there. But it's a tough squad to execute. But the comp they were running with the Reinhardt was a little bit too static coming through a choke like this. They were just getting mowed down. They couldn't execute their ultis against the split team Wallace. Playing with fire there on the front line as Jelly Doodle fires down the lane here, but Enigma haven't really done anything. 40 seconds of the clock, and it's just been poking at the front lane here. Wallace has been doing a good job of booping them back whenever the initiation tries to come through. Oh,
Yeah,
speaking
no,
of which,
oh,
initiation comes through onto the top here. They're pressuring Riposte here. He seems to be the target of choice here, but they're not able to shut him down just yet. But Jelly has a lot of space to work with here. There's a Diva Neck that dropped. Is Vertigo dropping first? And that is immediately going to lead to this whole team fight breaking down for Enigma. Beastie Boys doing such a great job of weathering the storm, not losing any players, and overtime just grinding down this Enigma squad. Summary. Anti hits a couple, but doesn't really find anything more as Blur tries to find that kill, but he gets stand up, gets taken down. Swan advantage obviously does favor the attacking team here, but not with a well-placed High Noon. Gonna get rid of Toxin Socks. Getting rid of Vision's mech once again. Digital needs to not go down, but he does. There's a Diva, there's two Divas on the point here. Double Vision here. I haven't been drinking that much on this lovely Mother's Day, but unfortunately, it's not going to be enough to help Minitech win this team fight for his team, and I hope he plans on switching, because otherwise that was a terrible ult. He's trying to get out of here on a very nice amount of HP, but it's not going to help his team. Coming through though, Blur is Angry Monkey on the point. This is maybe the sloppiest team fight I've seen in a long time. Never ending. Vertigo come back from spawn, but it might be working in Enigma's favor here. They finally start to get a foothold in this team fight. They picked up a couple of kills now. They're forcing Beastie Boys into an awkward spot. They can just get the clean up. Ooh, hit the shot onto the guy. He doesn't hit him, unfortunately, but Lucius going to get away on a sliver of HP. Blur under a ton of pressure. Riposte off the map, doesn't need to be involved in this team fight anymore, or so he's decided, and Hamza are going to pick up the slack, but not going to drop in turn as Minitech and the team try to get a foothold on this point. They were doing so well. The kills coming back. Full sleep onto Beastie Boys off tank here. At ultimate going to clear the point. Jinjulu gets taken down. They've capped the second tick now. A little bit to the third. Beastie Boys going to get on this point. Mito trying to the leg to get on the point, but he doesn't quite make it. I think he wishes he was playing a taller hero there, but he's going to get taken down here by Enigma. And that was a horrible long team fight.
Can you breathe after that? That is what I want to know.
I'm a professional. This is my bread and butter.
Oh my goodness, we're already seeing kills coming out.
This is what you like to see from Enigma. They kind of carry that momentum from the first point here into the second point. They lost Minitech, but he's brought back to life. He's going to be a monkey now. I have flashbacks here to Busan, but it's okay. He's going to do a better job. Just stay away from the edge here. Don't do it. It's not worth it. You've got so much to live for. He's trying to clean up these kills here. He's going to bail out, though, and in fact, looks like a full-scale retreat here. I don't know what the clue was to get out of there, but after infinity team fights, they've suddenly decided to regroup.
So I actually think that the cue to get out of there was, unfortunately, they lost Fluffy very early in that fight.
Okay.
And your Ana is your main source of healing. So if you're out if you're jumping in without your Ana, you are losing a lot of healing in that. And so I think that's why they just decided to back out there. But some good ultis coming up. We can see Mito's got Tor ult coming up. We can also see Blur and Vertigo both have their tank ults. Riposte and Vision's not quite there yet, but they're getting there. Yeah, so I'm excited to see what happens here.
Let's see. Yep, they're going to start off with the self-destruct under pressure here. She gets a turret. Not maybe what she was looking for, but they'll be happy to come up with something here. Can they get rid of Vision's mech? Looks pretty good here. They do just that. They don't get the baby diva. Not sure how she squirmed away out of that one, but they've lost Tox in the meantime. Bob now onto point. Gonna look to put the damage down and pull the attention of the Beastie Boys. Would look at the Molten Core catching so many, but there's an angry monkey on the front line. Blur picks off they picked off a couple. The sound barrier though comes out in defense, and that might just force the red team back here. Enigma struggling to clean this up, and on this point you cannot take long drawn out fights as the attacker. The defenders will eventually come through with the respawns, and Riposte does just that, cleans up the attacking team and holds the point here for Beastie Boys.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, we can see they came in, they knew what they were going to do, they executed it exceptionally well, they got the picks, but unfortunately they couldn't clean up with the few other picks that would have allowed them to get at least a tick on the board. And so now that was 3 ults, and unfortunately not even a tick on second point.
Yeah, they were so close to that tick actually, just a couple of percentage points away. Now they're going to look to clean things up here moving forward. No ults to work with on this occasion. Minitech close to his, but I don't know if they want to use any. Maybe bait them up. Vision's going to pop his early. Coalescence comes out in the other direction. With Fluffy going down, that's probably going to be the cue to disengage once again, Kay, as you mentioned earlier.
I mean, yeah, we can see
Oh, the hammer!
Oh. Oh, Mito going for it again. I mean, this man is...
Oh no, Tox! Run! It's not worth it. Gonna try and take the trade here. Mito not holding the hammer out just yet. In fact, gonna back out. Nice bait there from Tox, actually, pulling them through. Didn't get any kills though, but they are forcing them back here. But Beasty was happy to take fights all the way out there, the way the respawns work. Blur coming forward now. He's taking a lot of damage. Planet of the Apes here. As Minitech once again looking to do his best impression of his former teammate. Not finding anything at the moment as he looks to work that Primal Rage out of the Mind Key. Blur, speaking of which, has his. He finds that kill. Another sound barrier comes through from Wallace here as they look to hold this point. Only 30 seconds left, 20 seconds left on the clock. Couple of ticks being picked up now, one at least for Enigma as they look to push through the second and final point. Jelly will set up on the high ground here. This is where he wants to be. He just needs to be careful that Wallace doesn't work his way around and make short work of the Ash. Toxin Socks on this. Oh, he gets pushed back. He doesn't get taken down. Mito gets beamed down. 2 kills coming through from Minitech here as he looks to help his team just secure this point. Second tick captured. Wallace taken down. Enigma are cleaning up. Enigma are doing it here on the second point. Just a couple of kills left. But look at how Beastie Boys are staggering their reinitiations here. And that's Tox going down. That might be the key to Beastie Boys pulling this one back. Now Enigma have to really fight through. Self-destruct finds one. Can they just get this clean up? Wallace being a nuisance on the point. So many players coming through here from the Beastie Boys. Repulsed, beamed down by Minitech, and Beastie Boys not able to defend that one.
Yeah, that was a sweaty fight, if I do say so myself. Oh my goodness gracious, I was watching that with bated breath. But that was excellent target focus from Enigma. You can see as a person came in, they were beamed down, and they saw when that Diva came in with the 600 HP, they switched immediately to the next person that was coming in. And so then they focused the Diva afterwards, and the pick by picks, they just played that exceptionally well. And that's the Enigma that we want to see. Unfortunate that it took a couple minutes to get there, but we eventually did get there, and they capped that. So they are up 2-0 on this map in particular. But yeah, we're gonna see Beastie Boys coming out with Mito on the Hanzo. I don't know if he's gonna switch. There we go. I mean, you know, just gotta wait that out. Yeah. We see Minitech coming out on the Pharaoh, so we're going to see some nice pharmacy, putting in that spam damage. That's very important, obviously. In this choke, as a Pharaoh, you can build up ult so quickly. Just spamming through this tight choke point, especially if you don't have mobility heroes, but Beastie Boys do. It's kind of their game. So I guess we'll see how Minitech and Tox play this and whether they can really put the pressure. Oh, we see Mito switching onto the Echo, actually. So we're going to have two flying heroes on this. Yeah,
but Mito has no support here. He's working with the Hamza on the Moira and Wallace on the Lucio. I think Wallace is probably the most likely to be on Mito's level, at least when it comes to verticality. But Enigma and Minitech here just going to pump the damage through here, backed up by Tox. Tox having to pull double duty here, taking care of Jelly and Mini, but going to focus his attention on Mini. Jelly drops in the meanwhile. Probably going to have to pull the res out there. Make sure that Ash is in fighting shape here as the bubble comes through. Just going to try and pump that down, but Tox pays with his life. Mito camping the body, gets rid of the Enigma Mercy, and that could spell doom for their defense on this first point. If Mito wins this duel, I think that's probably it, but they've lost the main attack on the front line, and it's not instead who's going to take down Jelly Doodle off the pagoda there. Not now, pushing forward with the Moira at his back. Looks to clean up the Ana, needs to get moving. Fluffy, watch yourself. Doesn't quite get taken down there. Oh, as I say that, gets tracked down eventually. Not uncontested on this high ground. Just going to put the damage in and allow the Beastie Boys tank to get set up on the point here. Do Enigma come back in here? No, it looks like they're just going to let that one go. But with 2.5 minutes left on the clock, this is going to have to be a long old defense for Enigma.
Oh, definitely. I mean, as soon as they broke through, unfortunately, Mito just wrapped around. He got the pick. They had to go for the res in order to stay even in that fight. And so because Tarks unfortunately fell, they just fell a lot faster than they were expecting, and so Not was just able to put in so much damage just getting those headshots in.
Yeah, unfortunately, Minitake pumping in the damage now as Blur looks to get aggressive with the Primal Rage. There was okay, self-destruct does find Not, and Minitake kills his opposite number, so that should be job done here for Enigma. 1 fight down, 5 minutes left to go.
I mean, if every one of their engages is like this, I definitely feel like they will be absolutely fine. But obviously, Beastie Boys came into that fight not using any sort of ult, really. We see Visions is coming up to the minefield, and you know how that can clear a point. I've noticed with Beastie Boys, they like choosing heroes that can just clear a point with an ultimate.
Yeah, that's true, actually.
It's a great way to play, especially if that's what you're comfortable on. You want to play your comfort picks. You want to play what you're good at. So, it definitely works in their favor. But I'm really looking to see if Blur and Jelly can do what they did on Busan and work together.
Yeah, Bob comes out here onto point. Look at that, clearing the point, as you say. They've pulled up the sound barrier here, but Blur's taken a ton of damage in his ultimate form here as Mito looks to emulate the enemy main tank with a Primal Rage of his own. Gets pulled out of the Echo form, beams down his opposite number, gets revenge for the previous team fight as Blur dropping low. Fluffy doing an incredible job healing him from across the map here. Self-destruct pulse bomb, doesn't find anything. It's all blue in the kill feed. This could be it for Enigma if they can't push this one back. Beastie Boys punishing them for their transgressions here, cleaning up the points. It's just a disastrous team fight for Enigma now as they have to trickle through, just try and stall things out. If they can get even one kill, that might be the window back into this game, but it's going to be tough. Nano Boost onto Jelly. He's looking to clean up the Echo here. Not able to find it just yet. The Coalescence keeping him alive as Vertigo drops on the backline, but numbers are coming through now for Enigma. Any kill might win them this team fight, but with the minefield on the front line, it's going to be so tough. First tick taken now for the Beastie Boys as the players from Enigma still come on through. Vertigo going to rejoin the fight here, but getting taken down so quickly is Blur. Moira now in the mix, but that Diva just a little bit far away. Oh, that's a self-destruct though. That might be critical. They get that second tick for the Beastie Boys though, and they haven't dropped a single player. Bob comes through, going to clean up the point here as Blur looks to make a last-ditch defense here for Enigma, but it's not enough.
Oh, that was, I'm going to say it again, that was a very sweaty team fight. Beastie Boys came in, they used their ults exceptionally well. As we said, Visions used that minefield to get that space on the point. Then obviously, because your tanks are trying to clear those mines, your squishier heroes, your DPS and your supports have to stay off point, otherwise you're just going to die to those mines. And because of that split, they were just able to get the picks that they needed when they needed to contest point. Then they died to the mines, they died to the other ults that were being really well layered on one another by Beastie Boys. And so unfortunately, Enigma have to hold here for 2 minutes and 52 seconds in order to get a draw.
Yeah, they are playing for draw, and if they do get that draw, we head over for a best of one on Lijiang Tower, I believe it is, and I think Enigma will feel pretty comfortable if they head through onto that map, as long as they aren't too mentally boomed. But they managed to hold that first point. They managed to get that push through second point, so they're playing with a bit of momentum here. And 3 minutes on first point isn't an impossible task.
Yeah, definitely not. Both teams can build up substantial ults. It's just which team uses ults better and which team focuses down the correct targets in order to enable that. You can see they're playing for their hacks. They're playing for Visions on ball. He is going to cry playing against a Sombra.
Yeah.
And I think that was a really good pick, getting the Sombra, just to make sure that he doesn't have free reign over that point to drop those mines.
I worry though that they're playing the Beastie Boys game here with this very brawly split not brawly so much, but split composition. I'm going to be taking duels across the map here, and I think that's what Beastie Boys want to do. A great hack as Visions goes up there for the pile driver, gets taken down. It's a low monkey on the front line there. as the supports do a good job of keeping each other healthy. But this Mito on the backline here, not dealt with just yet. It's going to be up to really nobody, and Mito just executes him. They do trade that kill out, but a nano boost coming out here for Blur. Gonna just push the front line back here. Make sure that Beastie Boys can't come through the choke. Allow them the time on Enigma to kill the main tank. While it's gonna drop as well, and that's gonna be enough time for Minitech to rejoin the fight.
Yeah, I really like that nano. I think that was needed, because if you don't have that nano, then they just push you, because that pick on the Sombra was very big and Mito was in the backline. I mean, he did get taken down, but that just allows Beastie Boys so much space if they don't have that nano. And we can see Blur, basically, he has Primal now. So that's definitely something that can help them to win this fight.
They've already burnt around a minute off the clock here, minute and a half. Vision's going to drop early here. No self-destruct to remix, so he's going to get taken down. Where's the rest of his team, though? Fiddling with Blur on the front line, and Blur does have that Primal Rage. Oh, no, he did already use it, so that's why Visions didn't have any backup. Here's the EMP, though. This should help him win the fight. Minitech dropping low, though. He gets the hack onto the Bob, who's now also sleeping. A lot of effort put into making sure that Bob doesn't contribute, but they need to get the kills here. Riposte with his ultimate, stand up, hacked up, dropping low, needs to get back. Is he going to get taken down? No, he's not. Mito duplicated the Diva there. Minitech, oh sorry, Vertigo showing him how it's done. Neither finding any kills though, and in fact it's Jelly who's going to drop early here. Riposte mines that scalp from the Enigma squad, and they're just posturing here in the choke, waiting to come forward. Riposte does that right now. Looks to get aggressive on this front line as Minitech looks to find the hacks to keep his team alive. Jelly coming back from spawn. Blur's already dropped. They cannot lose this point. They cannot lose this fight. They have to be perfect, and they've already lost both supports almost. They've lost almost all their players here. Jelly in the mix, but he's not going to be able to fight off the whole of the Beastie Boys squad, and Beastie Boys will take a 3-1 victory.
Yeah, as you said, Enigma switched to that comp in order to play Beastie Boys' game, and Enigma and Beastie Boys they're completely different teams. Obviously, Mini coming out here with the play of the game, beating down the poor Moira. Dropping very, very low there. But yeah, unfortunately, Enigma did try to play Beastie Boys' game with that kind of split, and they started doing it really well with a hack onto the ball. But unfortunately, they lost one in their back line, then they lost Blur in their front line, and then we saw obviously the switch to the Reaper that just cleaves through the tanks of Enigma, and so they were just able to take that point. But honestly, well played from both teams. It was a very, very tight matchup. Obviously King's Row less so, but Hanamura definitely a show of what both teams can really bring when they're playing their game.
Yeah, couldn't agree more here. I'm always excited to see how this team's going to grow. Of course, we have to remind ourselves that Blur only did recently join the team. Quite a new addition, and we mentioned at the start that if any player is going to be comfortable coming into this team and getting comfortable quite quickly, it is going to be Blur, but it does take a bit of time to get used to that, and I imagine Blur is part of the calling structure and the decision making on this team, so that all takes a little bit of time to synergize. We saw some real signs of life at the beginning of the series from Enigma. They came in, they looked well put together, they looked like they had a plan on Busan, and they kind of struggled to find that energy as the series went on. We spoke about the attack on Junkertown, where Jelly Doodle and Blur were working together. That was something really spectacular to see how well they were able to execute that. But unfortunately, as the series went on, they kind of lost that, and the more chaotic style of the Beastie Boys kind of pushed them through to the fall. So, well played to the Beastie Boys. They will be kind of stamping themselves as the second best team in the country. As we watch these kind of matches all unfold, it's going to be interesting to see how that power ranking shifts. I think it still goes Randburg, Beastie Boys, Enigma OG, or OG Enigma, but it's going to be interesting to see, Enigma's taking matches of Beastie Boys, taking maps of Beastie Boys. They weren't able to do that in the past. So that's really exciting to see. I'm excited to see how this all shapes out. Before we go, KK, got to give me a play of the match.
I mean, all of the players played so well. But definitely I think I know it's going to sound super kitsch, but Mito on the Torb, it is a hero that he thrives on, and I feel like he was just a presence throughout every single one of the maps. His ult usage, you could see he knew what he was doing on that hero, and how he fit into his team composition, even though it was sometimes all over the place and super chaotic. You could see, okay, he's getting the picks, he knows who to focus, he knows when to ult, and so I feel like from the Beastie Boys, Mito would definitely be my player of the match today.
Yeah, I think I agree there. I think tough to pick a single player from
definitely.
a team like the Beastie Boys in a game where there were moments when everyone kind of popped off. I think Riposte really put in a strong performance today from that main tank position. I think Vision's coming in on that second map, you could immediately see the difference he made to the team. Even through that chaotic play style, you still need somebody making decisions, somebody picking targets. That stuff is still extremely important, especially for a team that isn't that well practiced. Somebody who just knows how the game ebbs and flows makes such a huge difference, and you can see the difference Vision's made when you join. And not always crazy with the hit scan play, just pew-pewing people all over the place. But it is going to be Mito, our player of the match. So guys, that is going to be it. That is week 2 done. We had some awesome games this week. OG versus Ramberg, Team Gaming versus Rage Quit Odyssey was a super fun game. This match tonight, Beastie Boys taking on Enigma, super fun match. So you guys can expect more of this next week in the Raving Mad Gamers Last Man Standing. But before we get to next week, Kay, where can we find you on the internet?
I had a whole thing last cast about the fact that I could not remember my Twitter handle, but don't worry guys, I got it now. So it's Kales, I'm pretty sure there's an underscore after the Z, but I mean, that's where you can find me on Twitter. I don't post a lot, but I do lurk and I do like tweets. So if you want to give me a follow, that would be great.
Awesome. It is at Kales _ CAYLZ_ on Twitter. You guys know where to find me by now, at SunPhoenix on Twitter, SunPheonyx. It's Sun Phoenix spelled wrong in multiple different ways. You can follow me on Twitter. You can also find me at the top of the list on the Cows Discord channel. Please join that if you'd like to get involved in tournaments. We've got so many new teams joining this year. If you'd like to count yourself among their number, don't hesitate to join the Cows Discord server. You can find us on Twitter at ZA Overwatch if you want to follow for everything Overwatch related in the country. And then, of course, we have the Peach today doing our broadcasting once again. Perfect as usual, no mistakes. Team's always on the right side, which is always nice to see. And then we've got Cena at Cena ZA on Twitter. Not really sure, to be honest, but he's the one doing all of our graphics. So if you like the graphics we're supposed to be putting on the tweets, but we forget to, then he's the guy doing those designs. So thanks so much to him. And thanks so much to PC International. Once again, it is Cena _ and it's Cena with a C, CEENER _. Thanks so much to Raving Mad Gamers at Raving Mad Gamers on Twitter and at PC Int SA, our lovely sponsor. So guys, join us again next week, probably Wednesday or Thursdays when we'll be on again, covering more of the Raving Mad Gamers Last Man Standing tournament. So we'll see you then, guys. I'll miss you.